Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Friday, the 17th of February, comes to you from London. And I'm giving a training course to professional traders this morning in London. So, just getting this done before I head off to the city to do that. And we're looking here at the dollar index. Uh, Remember our long term, our medium term, and our short term time frames. Dollar has weakened again. We're back below the cloud, pulling back quite strongly. A lot of political comment driving things at the moment in the US, and we're seeing here that the dollar is back nudging this 100 level. So we're still above the cloud in the long and the medium term, but the short term there's a lot of volatility. And we're seeing then that the euro is actually bullish. The interesting thing is that the euro did negate these upside targets. So even though we're recovering, we did negate these upside targets and put in a new downside thrust target. So even though we're recovering this morning, that is a little bit bearish. We're bullish in the short term, but still the picture is pretty bearish for the euro. The yen is strengthening against the dollar. We see that dollar weakness here um, showing through as well. And if we look at the euro rate, we see here that sterling is just falling a little bit against the euro strength. And looking at sterling against the dollar, just ticking down a little bit this morning, back below the 125 level. It's just struggling to stay above this cloud and to break that medium term. So just keep an eye on the shorter term charts, the 1 minute charts if you're trading the sterling chart. Looking at Swiss franc, we see here we're pulling back as well. So sterling just not having a great time, and against the Australian dollar, just holding below the cloud at this 162 level, looking pretty bearish there. Looking at stock markets, S&P 500, another great week, just really powering ahead. Here we see that on the weekly candle. And we've got good upside targets all round at the moment. So market's looking very strong, even though there's perceived a lot of geopolitical risk. The fact is the markets are running quite strongly. Nasdaq's up, Dow is up. You're now at 20,600. So who would have believed that when we were struggling to get through that 20,000 level that we just run 600 points just like that. Russell 2000 has broken out of this sideways range this week. We're just seeing that painting here as a weekly candle just higher. Good upside potential as well. The futures only down slightly this morning, so no signs yet that the US market is going to open significantly different. FTSE is had a quiet day yesterday, just down slightly. We're ahead of the open this morning, but we're bullish on all three time frames. And the FTSE 250 much the same, just coming back to test the cloud, but we still do have these upside targets, so UK mid-cap still looking pretty good. And the DAX is bullish above the cloud as well. Nikkei down just over 0.5% this morning, but bullish above the cloud on all three time frames. Good upside targets. Shanghai pulling back nearly 1%, but again just holding this position, really hugging that cloud on the lagging line there. So just really testing that support level. And then on the Hang Seng Index, we're above the cloud as well. This is going to set us up for another big thrust target here, so that's going to be quite interesting when that locks. Sensex, Indian market up over 1%, breaking out of this doldrums the last couple of weeks, really starting to move and run. It's good news. And the S&P 500, S&P 200, the Australian index, now lots more upside targets, looking pretty good all round above the cloud. Brent is up this morning by 1/3%, not quite yet above the cloud on the short term. WTI is actually just wandering above the cloud there, so we're seeing that coming through. Looking at US nat gas, sitting at this 285 level, just struggling at the moment. Bearish in the medium term. Nat gas now not looking that great, it must be said. Looking at wheat, wheat's just fallen back below the cloud. So we're bearish on all three time frames there. Coffee up 1.25%, just coming back through in the short term. So we are seeing a bit of a recovery, 4% upside in the short term. So that's quite good. We talk about gold mostly. There's been quite an interesting chart this year, bouncing strongly on the cloud on the lagging line on the weekly, just starting to wander through on the medium term, and we're just still above the cloud here, looking bullish. 1259 is the new upside target. This is going to give us another upside target. So gold is just looking a bit stronger, even though it's down very slightly this morning, as is silver. Targets there quite clearly to the upside. 2% in the short term, 4%, or 12, 13% in the medium term. Copper Bearish below the cloud here, so that's just bearish in the short term, but bullish medium and long term. We do have a new downside target on the support level, but not activated, so nothing major to worry about there. Uh, US 10-year Treasury yields just static at this sort of high 240s level, 246 at the moment, so quite interesting there. Tech stocks, Apple just really rocketing at the moment, so we see that really showing through on the weekly chart. New all-time highs. Uh, the medium term is clearly bullish, 6% upside. Still got 10% upside on the short-term chart with a new 2% upside target, so Apple's looking great. Google is bullish above all three clouds, as is Amazon. Is really the tech story. 9% upside here on that and a 7% target, so Amazon looking pretty strong. Facebook just struggling to break to new highs. We saw here on the weekly chart it has done that. It's taken out that October high, but it's just in this sideways range at the moment. But the upside targets here are still very compelling. Two new targets here on the short-term chart, 5%, so looking pretty good. Microsoft above the cloud on all three time frames. So just not quite as many targets as Facebook. And Nvidia, the stock that I'm sort of I did a more detailed analysis on a couple of days ago. Struggled to make new highs, and this 105 level is pretty key. But the 100 mark is really critical. So we have to see. We're short-term bearish. 105 is a downside target, but we do have a little bit of a recovery at the end of yesterday, so that's encouraging. That's it for today. Have a great weekend. Until Monday. See you then. Happy charting. Bye for now.